Cheers, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite late night Friday night hashcast. It is Variables. We are your hosts for Goalie and Superior Buds, and tonight we got a special guest, my buddy Chuck Deez Nugz. It is also playing in my ear now. It's been a while. Hold on while I turn this off.
Fix the audio.
Too much audio. I hear myself. I don't like hearing myself. I don't watch this show after this show. How's everybody doing tonight?
Cheers. Doing good.
Man. Good. You still?
Doing well, man. Honestly, been enjoying the weather changes. Been enjoying the color changes here in Michigan. Been enjoying some fall flavors of dabs, and yeah, excited to bring the show back. I realize it's been a few weeks, guys. I'm sorry, everybody. You can quit DMing me. We're all here. Everybody's fine.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes life, it just
hunting
season takes
season.
over. It's also hunting season. That's not going to stop for a few more weeks. So,
It's also in the UP, we use this as time to prep before snow.
Yeah. What does that look like, man? Because I was thinking about that today. I'm like, all right, where did I put my plow in the spring? Like, I don't have to pull that out. Like, maybe get some, maybe stock up on a little salt now. Like, I have no idea what the winter's going to look like. I will say the last winter, I think I pushed my driveway like 3, maybe 4 times.
I think I only did mine
like once.
Yeah, I did mine maybe 3 last year. It was we had a destroyed season, like no tourism, which is a pretty big hit for the town.
Which, when we're talking tourism in the UP, they're not coming because it's mild weather. They're not coming because it's not freezing cold with snow, because they want to go snowmobiling, right?
Yes.
Is that kind of the big draw up there?
Yeah. Once you get you have to have certain amount of snow and then temperatures, and then the groomers will go out and set the trails. And I mean, if you've never seen a snow groomer, I had never seen one before I was up here. They're massive. They're the big snow cats. They're as wide as 2 cars. They pull a giant drag behind them, and they flatten your trails, and they even them out, and then they push snow. They fill water holes, freeze things over, and generally get everything ready for snowmobile traffic, which we get a lot of.
Right.
There's a lot of clubs and a lot of groups and just individuals. And I mean, do you know how many how many miles of trails you guys have up in the UP?
Oh my gosh,
probably
it's in the intro to one of the TV shows up here.
Can we take a guess? I'm just gonna throw out a random ass guess, that I feel like this is way too low, but I'm gonna say 1,600.
I wouldn't even know what to guess.
I feel like it's got to be like triple that, but
so just for groomed snowmobile trails, there's over 3,000 miles of groomed snowmobile trails, and that's groomed.
That's so crazy.
Every single town. Yeah, every town will have their own groomers that groom their section of trails.
That is
crazy.
Crazy.
The North Country Trail is 4,700 miles long and goes through 8 states, including the entire UP.
And that's a hiking trail in the off season, or the different season, right? Isn't that?
Well, the Michigan portion of it is 1,100 miles long, with over 550 in the UP alone. That's just one trail.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I've seen some videos of that trail. It's pretty cool. It's not going through the mountains, the Rockies or something like that, but I know there's a lot
on my side.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of portions where you're walking through towns on asphalt. It's not like you're out in the middle of the wilderness the whole time or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, it's still pretty cool that they're making that connection through and through, state after state.
And being able to ride like a mountain bike, or it'd be nice if we could take it side by side that long. But there's certain areas where we can't. But snowmobiles, I mean, you can go from my town all the way up to Copper Harbor. So
how far is that?
Gosh. Now I gotta Google Maps that.
more Google searches. We're getting facts straight tonight, Google. Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see. It is about 300 miles if you're on the highway.
Wow. Oh yeah, I was thinking. Okay, Copper Harbor. That's way up there. I was thinking for some reason I was thinking like Sault Ste. Marie. That's not.
No. Copper Harbor's the peak of the Keweenaw.
Yeah, that's way up there.
Yeah, that's like people from my area go. That's too much snow. Like that's. And we, Chuck and I, we were having that conversation earlier where he said, the cold and snow would be the.
Yeah, that's my downfall. I can't do it. Too much.
Really?
Snow for me. Yeah, I can't do all that snow and the cold. I'm not a cold person.
I mean, it's not like you're living in the South by any means, though, dude.
No, very true. But
I mean, like we said, last year was very mild, but we've had some pretty rough winters here in Michigan, and just the fact that you got to prepare for it. I don't mean to cut you off, Chuck. We definitely want to get to you, but I want to know what Superior's got to do to prepare for a winter up there, because I mean, there's got to be quite the variety.
Yeah, definitely got to do more than we do for sure.
You've got to get the animals set right. So depending on what you got,
what does that look like?
So for us, lots of straw. Load up on straw. That's going to be the bedding. That's going to be what I compost all winter. I compost inside my chicken coop, inside the chicken run.
You live in, kind of a wooded area, so it's not like you're harvesting your own straw, right?
Nope. Okay. We get it from a local guy, Amish farmers.
And do you know how much they charge? Do you recall?
Is it like $3 a bale?
Fucking perfect.
But we can get it way cheaper if we buy rounds. But
yeah.
Trying to move around. Like if you've ever seen one.
I have, and they went up, dude. Those used to be about $35 a pop in 2019, and now they're about $50 a pop last I checked. I mean, that's a decent amount of inflation right there.
Other than that, it's really, first off, I've got to prep all the garden beds. Got to clean all the garden beds up, chop, drop, anything that's going to be put down. I still haven't gone out because we do have another warm day coming.
Do we?
Goodness. It's going to be close to 70 up here.
What? When?
Next week.
Okay. I'll have to take a look at the extended forecast, I guess.
Right now it's saying 65 on the forecast, but the internet weathermen are like, just wait. There's a ridge sitting above us that's supposed to just hold heat. So either way, 65 is enough. So we'll go out. I've still got to mow the wildflower meadow. Got to mow that down, chop it, mulch it, blow the leaves. Got to get the leaves taken, and we usually we'll compost them down into what we call the lower grove area. It's a low area on our tree.
Yeah, you're just building soil,
Yep.
But tell me now. So have all the leaves fallen off your trees at this point?
Mostly.
We had a couple windy days lately, and that started it. But I would say we're not even 50% down here yet.
No, we're right on the lake, so wind for us is a whole different monster,
and that takes it out quick.
Yeah, we're pretty bare. There's still some trees that have quite a bit of leaves, which taller trees. But I actually was just showing Chuck here. Let's see if I can do this again. Like right here, that's our back tree right now. It's normally covered in leaves.
Yeah.
She's completely bare. So that's it. We're ready to chop them and get them ready. We don't pick them up. We use them for stuff. A lot will get pushed into the chicken run, the outdoor chicken run for next season. They'll love that next year. They'll come running out, and chickens and leaves are great. Bugs hide in it. It's a great source of food for them right away.
It's chicken scratch, man. They love it.
But we also put markers up along the driveway. You've got to prep for plowing.
I was thinking that this weekend too. I'm like, bro, we had a couple frosts already. We had a couple nights that were, at freezing temperatures at least, if not maybe a couple degrees below. And I'm like, I better get those reflector sticks in the ground before I can't anymore, because I've been there before too.
Me too. And up
Start
here,
snapping them.
If you fuck up and you don't widen your driveway enough at the beginning, by the time winter's over, you're barely fitting down your driveway. Like shit starts shrinking, and when snow piles up here, you ain't moving it.
Yeah,
it's just
It's frozen. It's gonna.
Yeah, you get a block.
Mhm. It's not like it's this nice fluffy dust that hangs out all year. It ends up turning into an ice hard igloo, you know.
Well, you know, I mean, it's like that shit that the snowplows move, right? It just gets sloppy and heavy, and that stuff will lock you in your driveway if you're not careful. So you got to get it out.
Yep.
You got to plan where you're going to put your snow.
That's a big thing too, man. I had to deal with that in a, I guess, a condo complex. Once upon a time, I was managing a condo complex, and dealing with the snow plows and the snow contracts every year. It's like, all right, cool. It's going to cost us this much. You know, we can either do it by push or a yearly contract or whatever. And but then, what do we do with the snow? Because we don't have any land to put it on. It's like it literally has to get either piled up on a sidewalk or something you're not supposed to do, or we got to take it out of here, and that's expensive, bro.
Yep, they do that a lot up here too. You'll see trucks come in and they're scooping it and carrying it off.
Yeah, it's the county trucks that are doing the dirt roads during the summertime. They're the ones that are hauling out snow in the wintertime.
Yep,
working year round.
And I've also got to prep the garden, get everything set, winterize the AC, close that down, seal it up.
So what does that look like? Because we don't have to winterize our ACs down here.
So I just I only have the one AC, and it's the grow room AC. It's just a window unit.
Okay.
But it's a built-in window unit now. So I can't take it out. It's part of my wall. So I literally go out and I blow it out with compressed air, make sure there's no leaves in it, no garbage, seal it up, and then gorilla tape the shit out of it so it doesn't blow off, and make sure it doesn't leak air into the grow. Basically, it's a source the air could come through if I'm not careful. And then I've got to break out the secondary heater because I do use an oil heater in the lung room during as well. I have the heat in the flower room, but the lung room needs to be brought up. Otherwise, it gets cold.
Yeah, man. I'm starting to think about that now too. It's like, well, it's not so much AC that's a problem. It's more like the heat. Like I got to start thinking about putting heaters in and stuff. Because I got I just run essentially infrared electronic heaters or electric heaters. Those have been I don't even know if they're technically infrared, but they
like
look like
the panels.
Or no, they look like a Dyson blade fan, but like obviously it costs $30 from like Walmart or whatever. It's not as high tech as like a Dyson blade, but it's got like the gap in the center and it's shooting hot air through that, right? And it's kind of cycling the air. There's no filtration or anything like that. There's no light, which is huge because when I think infrared, I do think this big red glowing thing that's coming out of this heater, right? The only issue I've had with these things is if and when my power goes out, they don't turn back on.
Ooh.
So I need to get out there to make sure the heaters are going back on if the power's going out. I'll be right back.
You should really check out the oil heaters. If you're having to add heat, small tents, smaller spaces, those oil heaters are some of the most efficient ones you can get. They maintain their temperature. You're going to have less pulling high electric to dump heat in and then shutting off and getting no benefit from it. They seem to cycle a lot more. Whereas the oil heaters, you spend a lot of energy up front to heat the oil. Once you're heated, it just spends a little bit to keep it at temperature and holds it, and it radiates heat. They're great little units. And they even have they got little baby ones I've seen people put in their tents. They're awesome.
I thought about getting a few of those because I got a room that kind of stays cold during the winter that I need to add some heat to and shit. And I figured one of them oil heaters would probably be my best bet instead of the electric ones that kick on and off so often.
Yep. And those little boxes that everyone used too, so fucking scary, man. You can see that glow and they like pull 15 full ass amps. Like,
Yep.
And people are daisy chaining shit to get those heaters are the biggest problems in grows.
Yeah, needless to say, I don't have any of those going right now, but
and funny enough, I mean, I speak like I don't make these mistakes, but even someone who plans like I do, in my grow last year, I had inadvertently put like a splitter over one of my outlets that splits 2 outlets into 6 outlets. And not knowing that one of the extension cords that was plugged in there, one of my high voltage extension cords, was going to the heater. So this summer when I was cleaning stuff up, I pulled that thing off and it was completely melted on the back.
Oh, damn.
So straight up fire waiting to happen. You know, when
crazy.
you're using heaters, any extension cords, anything you plug into, make sure your voltage is rated properly. You know, be careful. That's
I used to always be one of the ones that I always like, let me find the cheapest extension cord. And then like I realized that I grab a plug and realize how hot it was. I'm like, all right, time to upgrade this up a little bit. Let me not be cheap on something.
So let's talk about you a little bit here. So you're a medical grower then?
Yep. I started growing way back when.
Early caregiver program type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your grow style like? What's your
I'm organic. I'm all organic. I started
soil type or
Yep. I got 3 3x3 beds, all filled with one of them's a build a soil mix, one of them's country roots mix, you know, from down here in Michigan. And I just keep it that way. I just got some blue mats set up to do my watering for me. I mean, I started off with Nugz and everything, just like everybody else. And then I started watching Jeremy's Build a Soil episodes, and I was like, you make it sound a lot easier than everybody made it sound over the years when I started looking into it. Like everybody just made it sound so complicated. And I watched it and I switched, and it's just been a big game changer for me on my whole growing style. So it's awesome. Pretty much, you know.
The blue mats are nice. That's
yeah.
Are you using just like a standard gravity feed, or do you have a pressurized? Like, how is your?
I hooked up the pressurized system. I bought the blue mat system probably a year ago, and I never set it up because I was going to do the gravity feed, but I didn't want to have to worry about filling a bucket that's 4 or 5 feet up in the air. So it sat around for a long time, and I just hand watered, and finally I just
like sooner or later
you're going to either ass.
Yeah, you're either going to pump the fucking water up there, or you're going to fall off a ladder and dump water everywhere. And,
right.
Like,
so I finally just put a fire into my ass to actually get me a pump and set it up. And now it's like one of them things. It's not a headache, but it's one less thing I really got to worry about. Like I was talking to Groli about it. I get up early as hell for work, so I try to sneak in there right before I go to work if I got 30, 40 minutes. And sometimes I don't even want to do that. So there's days I should be watering, but I'll skip it. And now I don't have to worry about it no more. Like getting the water they need, and I can set me a tea day on like a Saturday or a Sunday, mix me up a tea or something, feed it a little bit, and then just go from there. So
yeah, the blue mat system's awesome. I love the science behind it. I'm a science guy. I love repeatable stuff. And the blue mats are like dead on. Like it's using osmotic pressure. It's completely what you want. It's going to feed your plants. Same with like sips are also great. Yeah. I love sip containers.
Sips are dope. I got a buddy that grows in sips, and those are really. I'm like, I might need to get some of those for the outdoors. But yeah, I mean, the first time I did drip or blue mats, I just did the carrots, put them in my. I think I was running 10-gallon pots or something at the time. Well, I didn't do too much research on it. Set it. Went on vacation. Called a buddy, said, hey, you want to go by my house, check out, make sure everything's all right. Needless to say, the reservoir was empty. My floor was wet. So that's one of the things that kind of deterred me from blue mats for a while. And then I just been, over the years, there's just been a lot more videos coming out. Jeremy's been doing a lot of work with Sustainable Village and stuff like that, and just watching their videos. So I set up I got the drip tape going and all that. I got the pressurized system, and when I first set it up, I only did a little 5 gallons just to make sure I didn't have no leaks. I didn't want to come in with my floor flooded. So far it's been a few days and we've been all right.
Nice. Well, I'm a hydro grower, so I'm used to seeing my floors flooded. You know?
Yeah, right.
I've dumped hundreds of gallons plenty of times.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say I've never overflowed. I mean, my tank that I fill up my RO water with is separate from where I fill it, and there's a few times I forget about that. I've went to sleep and
that's a pretty standard like rite of passage. I feel like at some point you're going to get RO and you're going to overflow a bucket, whatever you're trying to fill up. Doesn't matter. And I've tried to be smart, like set a timer, and then the timer would go off, and I go check it and be like, oh, it needs 15 more minutes, and then I forget. Yeah. And then it's 2 hours later, and I've got a river. It's just every fucking time.
You ain't lying. And then wake up in panic modes about it. Like, oh, I didn't turn it off. Run downstairs. Have to vacuum up water. Man,
you guys talking about dripping water, Chuck? We just talked about this.
I know, just a little bit.
It's terrifying to me.
Speaking of that, it is absolutely unloading outside right now here.
Is it really?
Yeah, I hear it. I don't see it on the camera.
I hear it too.
That's pretty wild.
Huh.
I do have a metal roof, 3 foot above my head.
Oh, nice.
Does insulation kind of like cover up most of that, or
we don't? I mean, it's not like you would expect. Even during a hailstorm, we're pretty quiet in here.
Yeah.
I mean, the thick walls, and then we've got one of the guys local that saw this house being built said he thought the owner put double the insulation that he needed in the roof.
Well, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cannot complain.
Yeah, I know there's like a diminishing returns when it comes to insulation and R value and stuff, but it's like, maybe when it comes cost prohibitive, that needs, stop there. But like at a certain point in the long run, in the long run, if we're talking in the long run, then just, layer it 14 inches thick. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially, I mean, thankfully it's not expensive up here for electric and propane, but it could get expensive if you're not properly insulated up here. I do think it's going to be dab time.
That's one thing my house doesn't have is nice insulation. I wish it did.
Oh, my house in Detroit, I could hear my neighbor's phone ring. That's how
I believe that. I believe that, unfortunately.
Yeah, when I moved up here, this is log home, and I mean the walls are 12 or 14. I don't know. They're huge, and they're just log. So when I first moved in, it was crazy because there would be 60-mile-an-hour winds outside and be silent in the house.
Yeah.
And then you go and you open the glass sliding door, and you're like, holy shit.
Wasn't not expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different kind of sturdy when it's not 16 on center. It's it's 16 feet straight up.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we were talking about his grow style a little bit there.
Good. I was hoping if it didn't get brought up already, I was going to bring it up. But I want to take a moment too, Chuck. You want to shout out, I don't know, just give yourself a moment to shout yourself out. Where can we find you? I know you told me you don't have a YouTube, but we can find you on Instagram and stuff, right?
I just got an Instagram. It's Chuck Deez Nugz, same as it is on here. That's all I really do. I'm not really active on it much at the moment. I kind of fell out of growing and stuff, but it's slowly starting to get back into it. So that's where you can find me on it. That's about all I do.
Well, let's back it up. How long you been growing?
I started growing probably when the whole medical thing came around in Michigan.
Okay, it's 08
years ago. Yeah. And my first 5-6 years growing, I couldn't tell you one story about being successful. I did a lot of closet grows, a lot of tent grows, and I was living in apartments, bouncing around this and that, and so it took a long time for me to even get one good decent grow that I enjoy. And I was like, all right.
Wait, you're telling me even on your first grow, you weren't like, this is the best thing ever?
It wasn't, bro. I mean, I was living in an apartment my first grow, and I was trying to hide it, be discreet so I could hide it from maintenance when they had come in. I had overpowered lights, too much heat. I didn't know nothing. I just went and bought some lights, threw some plants in the closet, and said, let's roll and see what happens,
Hold on. Speaking of insulation, were you that guy that, like, obviously out of the 30 unit apartment building, your roof was melted with the snow off?
No, I didn't have lights like that. No. I wasn't. Okay. I was just in a closet for sure. No, I just had a couple of 600 lights trying to grow,
That's all you need, man. I started off with one 600 watt.
I always wondered about that, where when I first grew, I had 1,000 watt in my walk-in closet in an apartment with an upstairs neighbor above me. And I don't know, maybe a year and a half after growing, they complained about how warm their bedroom always was. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I ought to shut this off a little bit. Like, I'm going to get caught.
Yeah.
Might have to get some air-cooled hoods up in here.
Yeah, we were deep in prohibition land. There was no way I was.
Yeah.
I was using the AC of the unit to keep it cold. So the rest of the house was 50 degrees or whatever. And freaking bedroom.
Your whole house was a lung room. And
yeah. Tried to be.
I believe that.
Right. Well, shit. Okay. So you started, Yeah, that's, 08. That's a long time ago. Over 15 years. You got on and off in closets and apartments, growing like a lot of us kind of started off, right? Just kind of a few plants, few lights, whatever it might be. Did you, I got to back it up even further though.
You're fine.
Do you remember the first time you ever smoked weed?
Yeah, that definitely I remember.
Can you share that story?
Yeah, for sure.
And can I make a real quick guess?
Go ahead.
Did you get weed from your friend's older brother?
No, I did not actually.
Dang it. Okay. I feel like that's like at least a 50-50 shot at this point.
And actually, now thinking about it, none of my friends growing up had older brothers, to be honest.
You were the older brothers?
Oh, no. There was one, but that was about it. Okay. But anyways, now me and my buddy, we were, I think 12 or 13. I used to ride my bike a lot. I lived in the city, fucking everywhere was somewhere to ride your bike. So,
the city, you mean Detroit or what's it?
I grew up down in Taylor, downriver area, Dearborn.
Okay.
So we were just riding. We were on our way home, and we just happened to kind of look down and seen a bag filled up with. We weren't really sure what they were, but now knowing they were joints. So we fucking picked them up, and we had a couple different wood spots around our neighborhood where we could go ride. So we just rode back to one of them and lit one up, gave it a go. And I don't really remember getting high off of it. Not the first time. We only smoked half it because we didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so we just.
Did you smoke a cigarette? Like, have you smoked cigarettes up at this point?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I ever smoked cigarettes until I was like 15 or 16.
So this is like your a first experience really smoking anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I was young. And so we left the bag there because there was just a spot. Neither one of us really wanted to take it home. We were young, we didn't.
Yeah, where are you gonna hide it?
So then we kind of told everybody, hey, we found this, let's meet up. So we kind of got everybody else hooked on it. And but that's pretty much my first go around smoking weed. Is just kind of stumbled upon it, and
that's wild, man.
It's been a game changer.
Some teenager was at home mad as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right?
There's probably like 5-6 joints in it, and we smoked them all. So
that weed was someone's older. Yeah,
it was somebody's older brother. Yeah, for sure.
Just not anybody you knew.
Sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's great. Huh. Man, I think you're the first one to tell us a story about like stumbling upon weed like that for the first time.
It's crazy.
I don't know that I've ever really stumbled upon weed.
I remember the exact spot we were and everything. It's crazy. So
I've stumbled upon it, but I've never been brave enough to smoke it. Just not sure.
I guess being young, I didn't really think about, I didn't have that thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't in my brain.
Well, and early on, it wasn't as bad. Weed was weed. Now,
yeah, for sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah, now if I stumble across weed, yeah, that's just, you can leave it there.
Hold on. Are we saying that weed back in the 90s and early 2000s was better than what we're growing today?
No.
No.
I think not knowing what's in it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's more about the ignorance of the time, not about the quality of the product at the time. Yeah, we don't know that the quality of the product didn't have Eagle 20 or something on it, right?
Right. I mean, we all had fucking Bobby Browns, brick weed, all that shit. So it's just a matter of, my buddy's mom told me there was a time her and her friend were smoking, and her weed ended up being laced with like angel dust or some shit like that.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was just, you never know what could be in it and who you're getting it from.
It's that was the old days
in Detroit in the 80s.
And now you got fentanyl you got to worry about. So that's, if I see anything, I'm okay.
Yeah, well, which I don't know if I believe a whole lot of them stories. I think a little bit of that is media sensation and whatnot, but it's possible, I guess.
Yeah, you still never know.
But you got to watch out, like the spray packs now and the dye. And where are they getting the shit, the flavoring they're spraying on these things? Right. We talked about it, I don't know, a couple weeks back before, but it's really big in some areas. It's very concerning, really, for the community, I guess. But
yeah.
Very, mids sprayed with garbage to make fruity garbage.
Yeah, I mean it's the same idea with like flavored wraps. I've been down that road. I just, at a certain point, it's like, if you have to introduce anything to your cannabis to make it taste better than it is, you should just get different cannabis. Like there's something going on there that it's not
there's actually
up to par.
Like people talking where they went and taken good cannabis to some younger kids and they don't believe it's weed because it doesn't taste fruity. They're like, this is strawberry something, and it doesn't taste like I'm biting into a strawberry.
Yeah.
This is the Juul generation where everything tasted like what it was labeled.
Which, to be fair, I think there's some value in that. You know what I mean? Like lime skunk, clementine, like there's a lot of, and I didn't label these, you know what I mean?
No, some of them, some of the cultivars, you do truly get the name, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, when part of that is pheno hunting too, you know what I mean? Like if you got a lime pheno or a skunk pheno, maybe you got a clementine pheno, or you got one that just doesn't taste like oranges at all, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's the production pheno that you wanted for your commercial grow, and it doesn't have the terps, but still got the name. You got to make those decisions, I guess.
Yeah, but this is also where they're like we talked about before, the fake terpenes, the non-cannabis derived
botanical derived.
Yeah, not fake. That's an incorrect word. Yeah.
Well, they might be. We don't know where they're sourcing them, but we know that there are also botanical terpenes. Which aren't cannabis terpenes.
There was actually a thread that went pretty big on X this last week.
Oh, do share.
And let's am I not finding him?
There's been a lot of interesting posts lately on the old social media platforms regarding just everything from hash production to market pricing to new tech, and there seems to be a lot of drama strewn in there, but
there has been a lot of drama lately.
There's been a pretty big
so it's not just me.
No, that's kind of the reasons why I backed off Instagram, man. Even just all in it. Somebody's got beef with somebody or this and that. And it's just, I already got enough stuff going on in my whole life. I mean,
yeah, bro. I ain't got no time for that.
I'm just trying to see some good plants, some wax.
Yeah, learn a thing or two,
you know what I mean? Share
I don't want to get egos and mass reporting and all that bullshit. I'm not chasing followers. I want to talk.
Everybody get a big head thinking they're better than everybody else.
Exactly.
It's like, it's just a plant. We all grow it. We all smoke it.
There's many ways to grow it. There's many ways to smoke it.
It's all about your growing philosophy. We can't hammer that in harder than we have in the past. But my favorite part about this plant when it comes to this discussion is it's commonly referred to as weed. And what do we know weed as? Well, weeds, right? Weeds, they just fucking grow everywhere. You want to get rid of them. You can't stop them from growing. That's kind of like what this plant is. You're never going to stop it. It's always going to keep growing. It grows on every continent on this planet. It grows in every corner of this planet. It grows under shade, under sun, and tropic climates, and northern Afghani mountainous climate. Like you're gonna find it. You're gonna be able to grow it. And the more we hybridize it, well, I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing, but it's constantly adapting to. That's kind of the evolution process within and of itself, in our basements and in our garages and in our grow rooms and our tents and stuff like that. So, it's an unstoppable force, and it's just a plant. Sorry, it's just a plant. Can't outlaw it, can't patent it. I mean, you can, but
right,
it ain't gonna do you any good.
No. Still gonna grow it.
Yeah, and sometimes whether you want to or not, you know how many volunteer plants I got throughout my garden, man. I swear to God, my chickens were shitting out cannabis. Some of the places I found them this year, it's like, where's that smell coming from? Like, I'm not growing lime skunk right now.
Most random place. Are you composting yours as well?
Bro, I had the most beautiful looking compost plant this year, and it looked like a little bonsai tree, but I've never grown a bonsai cannabis plant, but that's what it looked like. And it was so dense and so frosty and so colorful and so nothing more than 10 inches tall, but like a foot and a half wide, and I'm like, this thing's got a couple ounces on it. I really want to harvest it. And honestly, now that I think about it, that's probably what I was smelling today, because I never did harvest it. Oops.
So here is the picture that generated all the drama this week.
Uh-oh. All right, so what am I looking at?
This is a macro shot of cannabis that was ordered from the internet and is claimed to be just pure cannabis.
Well, I can tell you that's not how trichomes grow. So what's going on here?
Right. So that's been the debate. Is there's some people that say, "Oh, this is just what ruptured trichomes look like."
Nah.
Exactly. That's my thought. I vacuum sealed weed before. I know what that.
Yeah. Right.
Like we've all, we processed enough. Like I've seen it.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like it's dusted with distillate.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's distillate, but
something, right?
Yeah.
Something.
That's something.
Yeah. I assume. Yeah. Yeah. Jay said it best.
Yeah. I mean, it almost looks like they, how do I describe this?
So let me pull up another one, because this rabbit hole goes deep.
Yeah, well, take me down it. I can't wait.
When you fit a dab in while this is going down.
Right.
Right. Seriously.
Is this? Yeah. This one. So again, very few of the trichome heads are actually visible.
Yeah, not a lot intact anyway, and even the ones that are coated,
they look like they're covered in crystals, right?
So do you think this is a spray?
That's terpene spray.
Okay, because to me this looks like it's not penetrating. So to me it looks like it's a spray, or a dusting. But you're gonna have a harder. Okay, that was really poor English right there. You're gonna have a more difficult time getting like a dusting to stick without some kind of adhesive, right? And I know trichomes and cannabis and wax, it's all very adhesive, but if you could just spray it on, I think it'd get a more sort of uniform coating, at least on the outside.
Now look here.
So are those pistols kind of like melted down or like coated down, if you will? Is that what we're looking at?
Almost. That's what the internet detectives have been trying to figure out.
Well, I mean,
so the claim from the let's say distributor, we won't say the grower, we'll say the distributor,
okay,
is that this is not spray pack. There's no THCA. This is what weed looks like.
No, well, they're wrong and they're lying. I don't know who this person is, but they're lying.
I ain't never seen those natural weed look like that.
That's what's kicked up a bunch of shit with it.
Wait,
I didn't jump
into it. Did he like
it.
stuff it in his pocket in a Mylar bag and then take a picture of it? You know what I mean? Like this
doesn't even look that
natural.
I can't make weed look this bad. I can't destroy my trichomes and make that happen. I can't figure out.
It's got to be spray, bro, because
it's got to be a spray of some kind.
You wouldn't get and okay. One of the things I want to point out is if you could topically apply a THCA liquid to a product that has THC or THCA already in it, there's a good chance that that liquid is going to turn into like a crystalline like that, like harden. And it's not going to be in this uniform trichome structure with a stalk and a head. It's going to look like this, or it's like a crystalline structure because it's going to attach to itself. It's going to try to get build upon the THCA there. And that's what I think we're seeing here.
So let's continue down this though. We know that they are spraying packs. We know that happens.
Of course, yes.
Now we also know how terpenes evaporate. So
you think they're cooking it too? Hold on.
How is this happening where you are able to spray a terpene on and it's still there in a month when I open the bag?
Why do you think it's terpenes? Why don't you think it's maybe just like a heavy THCA solution?
Well, no, if they're actual sprayed packs, though. They're very strongly flavored.
But how much of that do you think that solution do you think is terpenes, and how much do you think
that's true? That's a good
A, anything else, and B, THC
flavoring of some kind.
Right.
Versus
because I mean, if you look at carts, like distillate carts, they're going max, like for the most part, 2% on the terpenes. You know, so if that solution, say they spray a pound with a liter and only, you know, what is that, 20 milliliters of it is actual terpenes. You know, there's a lot of milliliters left behind there and what the hell is that? You know,
right?
Is it propylene glycol? Is it
so I assume that there's a carrier.
Alcohol.
The carrier is evaporating. My thought would be alcohol, because some of the other I was looking for the other picture where it looks like the heads that are there are actually deflated. They are no longer round and bulbous heads.
As in dried out? Like
they look like they're dried out. And I don't know if that's from, did they spray something on it that dried them out, or did they remediate of some kind? I don't know.
So attack it. Alcohol is going to do a pretty good job at reducing that kind of waxy layer around a trichome and like breaking it down. It's also really good at being hydrophobic. So whatever water is going to be around the alcohol, it's going to try to push it away. So there's a chance that, I mean, if it was a high concert, like a high percentage of alcohol, like, you know, if we're talking like 70% or something ISO, like I think we're going to have issues with that. But if we're talking something like a 98, 99%, you know, maybe like an ethanol, I could see how maybe it could start creating that kind of like deflated structure. But let me ask you that. was the deflated structure just amongst all of the we'll call it crystalline structures, or was it like partially built upon itself? Did it just look like a deflated, balloon, a deflated trichome?
It also had crystals on it.
Okay, so it was part of the process.
Right.
Okay, so that tells me it was probably an ethanol-based thing. I don't think it's going to be a vegetable, glycerin, propylene glycol, or anything like that, because that's going to stick around for a while. It's going to be detectable.
And they're going to want something that's going to go away.
Yeah.
That was my thought, but I wasn't understanding how it wasn't destroying it. But that was a good explanation of wearing down the outer head, enough to wear down the head, but not to dissolve it entirely.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and if they get it at the right... Here's the thing, too. I think a lot of them have been dissolved. I think what you saw was probably an anomaly in terms of the grand scheme of what's on that nug or on that bud, right? Because I think most of those things have been dissolved to the point that they're creating this crystalline structure where you can see a lot of stalks in those pictures. You can see a lot of what look to be probably heads at some point. They just don't look like heads anymore. They look like Minecraft characters. Like something is going on here, like
it's been a fun conversation because there's a lot of people that understand like this is not what we look like. Right. You can tell the people that are growers, but then there's also a whole bunch of people that are like, no, this is oh gosh,
the bots. Those are just bots. We'll just call them bots and trolls because they're wrong.
Yep. I'm too old to argue, so I just
the trolling days are over, huh? Young.
Yeah, no, it's 100% old man. Just shake my head and go.
That's me all the way.
Yep. Like, you know what? You just live in your ignorance. That's fine.
I'm totally it's not going to get you very far. That's for sure.
I'm almost happy that that's what they smoke. Like, okay, that's
cool. You did it to yourself.
Yeah.
Just. All right, Chuck Deez Dogs. I'm going to drop this question now. What does hash mean to you, and can you define it?
What? I mean, hash to me, it's basically almost, I say kind of anything that is extracted from the plant in itself. I mean, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not that deep into it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be. It's about what it means to you. It's about getting the collective of answers and understanding what each individual thinks about like what hash means to them and how you define it. So just to you, what does it mean to you? The word hash.
Hash to me is, like I said, just was extracted from the plant. The hash rosin, live rosin, wax, and we get the boba hash. I mean, it's all that's what I think of hash.
Yeah. Can you define? Can you define it? Like, if you had to, like, use it and not use it in a sentence. That's what you ask at the spelling bee.
Yeah, right. I probably can. I ain't gonna be honest.
I mean, I feel like you probably did. Just it's what's extracted from the cannabis plant, right? Like that's
pretty much, yeah.
So maybe you did define it, but does it mean anything to you? Is there anything special about it because it is like in this concentrated form, or is it just kind of like another method of ingesting the medicine kind of thing?
I mean, I definitely like the wax just because you definitely get a lot of that more flavor from it.
Mm-hmm.
But just the experience and all that too. That's kind of just
some people say there's less of an experience when it comes to doing like a dab or something because man, a lot of us, like, we talked about the 90s and early 2000s already, but like a lot of that was sitting like in a circle at a park, in a back alley.
I guess more like the flavor experience is what I mean out of the dab. You okay. More of that out of it. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, the more sitting around, that's definitely sitting around experience. But yeah,
that's not necessarily like defining the experience of hash. So that's almost just like the experience of like cannabis. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of sometimes. I guess depends on
maybe that's
crew you run with, but
yeah, I mean, I definitely I'm mainly just I just smoke it for the taste mainly. Definitely, that's
It's as pure of the taste of cannabis as you can get, right?
Yeah.
You don't get that green.
Or that grandma's cabin, dude. So do you have a favorite like terp profile, or like, some people we'll start with the basics, right? Some people like sativa, some people like indica. Those terms have kind of come and gone, and depending on what kind of
I don't even mess with those anymore. Really.
Yeah, right. But then you got the OGs and the gases, you got the cookies and the fucking gelatos, you got the citrus.
I'm a little bit of everything. I'm not picky. If something's got a good taste to it, I'll smoke it all day long. I'm not picky at all. Obviously, your lime skunk's one of them top ones up there. That's got one of the top flavors I've had. But that's about it.
You got some good looking ones in the garden today, though, man. I tell you what, Superior. He had these. I
wish I could show you.
Example. It's take a Sharpie, right? Like we all know what a Sharpie looks like. The stems on some of these things, and like a half gallon pots, 1 gallon pots, something like that.
Oh yeah, but they're sitting on top of my 3x3 beds.
I understand that. We'll get there, but still, like I could not believe the thickness of some of these stems he's got rocking in this room, and it's not like he's. You got good air movement, you got good fans in there.
It's probably like
you talked about it a little bit
16,
before.
8x16 room. Got a couple fans in there, AC.
Did you talk about the blue mat yet?
I did. We just spoke on it. We spoke on it a little bit.
Just
when you setting it up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 Grandmaster level. Which ones do I have?
Tarantula?
No, it's not the tarantulas. It's been a while. I won one of them on the show. And
nice. I was on that fucking podcast. I'm watching Chuck these Nugz when I was like, no shit.
It's one of the Bloom Masters or something like that.
Okay. They're fucking nice.
And I just happened to be looking at them too, and I was like, oh, I think this is the one I'll buy, and I fucking won one. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 2 of those hanging above 3x3 beds, and just rocking it out. Usually try to fill up.
So 3x3, you got 9 square feet in each one. You got 327 square feet, 2 lights. Superior buds. What
Master
are we talking normally?
Bloom. Yep, that's it, Spartan.
Oh, there you go. We got the GML rep in house here.
Yeah, I figured he would once I kind of mixed it in a little bit.
Yeah, you got the far reds in that thing too, right?
I
feel like I saw some reds in there.
That one has it might be. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they're it's a dual channel thing or whatever, but it looked like there was some.
No, I think it's just a one channel. That one.
Okay. Man, great looking garden right now. Fucking awesome. Plants are praying for that light. He's got stems thicker than my, index fingers, and some really
a lot of flavors. I'm hoping to get something out of there. I think I'm only what's today?
Can I guess?
Go for it. Yeah.
It's definitely past day 35. I'm gonna say day 42.
Not even close.
Oh my god, what is it?
Day 25. I started them at the beginning of the month.
Dude, they look great then. They look great because those things look like they're 3 weeks out from harvest.
Yeah, no, I wish, bro. I wish. No, they'll be done.
They look thick, bro. They look.
That's awesome.
Shout out to you. Shout out to Light. Shout out to everything you got going on there. They got some thick nuggies in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to turn into some good hash wax. Find a good one for a good washing and all that. So much nice flavor. I mentioned them too. I got them peach puddings in there. I got from Soulfire. I'm hoping I get something flavorful.
You got a handful of Soulfire in there.
I got a gang of seeds I need to get through. I was just talking to big jar. I want to set up. I got tents galore that I just got sitting around. And I want to put them to use. So I'm gonna get me a 3x3 tray and almost treat it the same way as my 3x3 bed. and just put those little 1 gallon pots on top of them and just start doing my pheno hunts like that. And run my little blue mat carrots in it. And
dude, it's like a massive, like backup cushion. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it's like a cushion. It's just a cushion. You know what I mean? Like having that much root ball is a cushion. Because
for sure.
When I look down and I see those 1 gallon pot, I realize they're on top of these beds and stuff. But when I see a 1 gallon pot, I'm like, I get so nervous when I see something like that in flower. And I've seen it. I mean, I've seen commercial grows do it with 500 plants in one room, and they're all in these little, Rockwell cubes, and that are bigger than my fist. And it's like, this is just so nerve wracking because all it takes is, I don't know, a couple hours of your power going out or a couple missed feedings. And, it's just things.
I had to step down. Quickly. I used to grow in 3 gallons, but 3 gallons were creating too big of plants. So I stepped down to 2 gallons.
Well, that's just a good problem to have,
it was just too much to manage. Of course, I'll probably go back up to 3s now because of the inner canopy lights.
Right.
Oh,
I'm thinking about putting up a couple extra 15s and stuff like that just to get a couple extra plants in there because I got the lights hitting the floor. So if the lights in the floor, I figure I could probably put a plant in there.
100%, bro. 100%. And that's one of those things where it's like,
you might not get the sufficient lighting it needs.
Hey, you know what though? But you know that as a grower, right, going into it, and especially if you're just trying to fill out the floor, fill out the photons, really, like have them not be bouncing off of the walls and the floor, have them be bouncing off of some photosynthesis for us and be creating some freaking nug meat. You know what I mean? Like put some plants on that floor space. Why not? You might have to be shuffling around them and kicking them around when you try to water or whatever, but like. If you're really trying to maximize,
what the blue mat's for. I ain't gotta shuffle through nothing.
But you will be when you fill up that whole floor space, and all of a sudden
for sure.
that 27 square feet becomes fucking 75 or whatever,
Yeah.
Get plants and put them on buckets to get a little higher, and
I did that today. I had some plants under a light. They were under a veg light. Great. Fantastic, freshly transplanted garlic punch. Have fun with those 25-gallon pots. Guess what? Those 25-gallon pots are really big. They pushed out my raspberry parfait. Well, guess what, raspberry parfait? We're not going to leave you on the ground stretching for that light. We're going to go ahead and put you up on some other 25-gallon pots. Get you a little closer to that light. Enjoy that, ladies. I'll see you tomorrow.
Nice.
All right. So flavor profiles. You didn't. We gotta dig into this because whether or not, okay, put it this way. Maybe flavor profile isn't the most important thing. Maybe as a grower, it's what it is like easiest to trim, right? Like sometimes that's a standout thing for us as a grower. Maybe though, you like the effects more than how it takes to trim. Like what can we kind of put in order as a grower and as a smoker, like the importance of the plant, all those different aspects that you can kind of think of. And there's a lot of them. I know there's a lot of them. Sometimes it's bag appeal. Sometimes it's color. Sometimes it's frostedness. Sometimes it's flavor. Sometimes it's effects. Sometimes it's, clonability.
We should build that list and I'll put them on a tier list for us.
Dude, there's so many. I mean, the amount of variables, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your favorite variables?
My first go-to is always the nose for sure.
The nose.
The nose. And then, if I can taste that what I can smell through a joint, that's gonna be on my keeper list for sure.
And that's a good point. It's the flower. Like if you can smell it especially as a grower, if you can smell it in the flower while it's growing, and then smell it in the flower after it's cured, and then taste it in the flower once you smoked it. Like that's when you hit it. Because even if you don't like the fucking flavor, yeah, you got to get it all the way through. You got to run that full fucking marathon. You can't give up with 0.2 left,
Yeah. I've had a few of those where it's like I can't get rid of them because that taste was just there all the way through. Every joint I smoked, I could taste it. And I'm like, yeah. But once you smoke something so long, you kind of got to move on,
That's true. Do you have like
nothing worse though than having something in your garden that smells amazing and then getting it to flower and smoking it and going, well, fuck.
Yeah, what did I do?
Man, I know that.
Like,
I ran a whole pack of this grape jam, and I was stoked for all of them. And then by the time I harvested, I didn't keep not one cut.
Yeah, I had one that had a grape flavor that I loved, the Jawa juice. Then when I pressed it into hash, the grape was lost. Like it just did not come through in the rosin.
Right.
Do you think that was due to a temperature thing, a pressure thing?
Pedro and I've talked about it. We just think it's a flavor that's hard to pull through. Into hash. Hash rosin, at least.
And it has. I want to clarify for those out there listening, it has nothing to do like with the tangy thing or the lime skunk thing where it's like a greasy thing and it's hard in that way. Like it's laborious, right?
Yeah, it's not a skill thing.
Yeah, this is like a scientific like anomaly that there's maybe like a low level of like a low sublimation point, low evaporation point, something like that that's keeping this terpene from like translating when it comes to that. I get it,
the one that's thicker in our water when we do the hash or when we wash,
I mean, the grapes and the reds come through and maybe those are anthocyanthins, but like a lot of that is parallel to those grapey flavors. And I know it seems so stereotypical, but it's true.
Yeah, I've had a few where they change once you wash it and press it. And I mean, at this point, my process is consistent. You know, I don't have an issue with temps or any of that. I know my data, right?
Repeatable variables.
Yep. So, not saying it's not me, but it's most likely something that's just consistent with whatever, like you said, the science behind it. It's got to be something that I don't know if it comes out in the wash. I think it comes out in the freeze dryer. But I've never collected my freeze dryer water. I drain mine, so we got into that discussion that one day. I don't want to put a trap on my freeze dryer.
I mean, just depends on what level you want to get to there, Superior. How much laboriousness you want to have.
I'm just gonna feed the hose right out into the dog's water dish.
Yeah, there you go. They'll be happy about that. I've thought about that. Okay, so here's a thought experiment for you there, Superior. I've heard that if it only takes I think this is a lot, but it takes somewhere like maybe 40% of a chicken's diet to be some form of capsaicin seed. So like I want to say not a chili pepper. Like I'm trying to think of the seed, like think of a habanero seed or something like that, right? Something that you could acquire a lot of and you could feed it to your chickens. I think if you get to something like 40%, it actually starts changing the flavor and the color of the chicken eggs. Now, maybe that's true for everyone's diet. Maybe if we eat 40% of the same thing, all the time, maybe if I'm 40% chicken,
I can tell you what would happen if I ate 40% hot, spicy stuff.
Yeah, right. I don't want to hear that description, but I can imagine it. Yeah. But it just makes me think, like, what if we did that with cannabis seeds? Would there be some level of? So
I fed
something production.
I fed hemp seeds to my chickens. That's a treat.
Okay.
That I that I haven't noticed anything change about them though. I guess
they're not super chill or
no. But now there is something to that. So like black oil sunflower seeds, right?
Yep.
You want to give them to your chickens during the winter, but not in excess. You need it to not be the majority of their diet because they still need to be able to get the shit to produce eggs, but you want them to have some to protect their feathers and produce the oils on their feathers, which will help keep them waterproof. Some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Helps them shed water, something. All I know is I'm supposed to feed them black oil sunflower seeds, but not too much. So, so maybe there is something. I've never heard the capsaicin.
I mean, you are what you eat, right? Like,
yeah. But would it be enough? Because like with the sunflowers, they tell you if you feed them like over 5% of their diet, they won't be able to produce eggs. Like they have.
Well, right. Maybe there's enough nutrients you can get elsewhere. Maybe you have to supplement them in that other 60% or something like that, just to get
too
there.
Fat. Maybe that was it. They'll just get too fat.
I mean, it seems like if anyone was to have a 40% of their diet the same thing, whether that's broccoli or red meat or fried chicken, like I don't think that's probably a good thing, but I don't know, each their own.
I think my kid's 40% noodles.
I know that. That's funny.
Mac and cheese noodles.
Yeah, we do a lot of garlic buttered noodles.
Buttered noodles, man. He's just recently actually started. He finally likes pizza, which means now we can start weaning him towards spaghetti with sauce. He loves tomatoes, but he does not like tomato sauce.
Wait, he'll just eat tomatoes, but he won't eat tomato sauce.
Oh yeah,
that's the exact opposite of me, and just about everyone I know, for the record.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
You don't eat tomatoes?
No, bro. Tomatoes are an ingredient, just like distillate.
I love tomatoes.
You slice them and put a little salt on them?
Absolutely not. We mash them up
or you put them in a sandwich. Put them in a sandwich with some mayonnaise.
Fuck no. We fucking.
You ever have fried green tomatoes?
Yeah.
Silly.
My parents are from the South, so I'm down with all that Southern stuff.
Yep. Listen, I think it's an ingredient. I'm down with ketchup. I'm down with marinara. I'm down with just about anything that's got tomatoes in it, but I don't want to see the tomato. It should be blended down into whatever the fuck else it's in. That's how I feel about distillate, if I'm honest.
Red's got some more facts for us. I know that the hemp seeds are really good for them.
Definitely a lot of omegas in there, from what I understand. I would wonder how long you could survive on something like that, though. I see some of these people on these shows, like I don't know what, like Alone or whatever, these survival type shows. It's like, yeah, you guys are just boiling water for a week. Like, I don't know. I feel like we could do pretty good on just some cannabis seeds if that's all I had.
Yeah. We grew the old bed that I built. So I have a 3x3x3 lasagna style bed that we built from just crap outside. And this year we just planted one tomato plant in it because I wasn't putting anything else in there. Wasn't doing an outdoor plant this year. So I threw the tomato plant in there. That thing has been producing tomatoes constantly. And my boy he has to get on a stool to get to them, but he'll just pop them off and eat them like an apple, just walking
That's
away.
Awesome.
He's done that ever since he was, I've got a photo of him maybe barely standing and just holding a tomato like an apple, just going to town.
Just mushed all over.
Yeah. He would rather eat veggies than meat. So he would live off our garden if he could.
Yeah, I feel like red meat might be more of an acquired taste for a child.
But normally, like hamburgers.
My kid eats about everything, luckily.
Yeah, your kid's a little bit older than some of these young buckers.
I mean, even when he was younger, I mean, he still
really.
He never. I mean, he never.
My daughter's.
The only thing he doesn't like is pie.
Benji's just super picky. He's just me in small form. So we talked about your lights and your grow beds there. You said you make teas. What other just prepared beds then? So top dress.
Sorry, my headphones died.
Oh, okay.
No, okay. As long as you can still hear us.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know what happened for a second.
You were saying you top dress then, or?
Yeah, every once in a while I just got some craft blending and stuff like that from Build a Soil. Kind of just followed his his little style he's got going on the episodes and stuff like that.
Just on YouTube or?
Yeah, the Build a Soil.
his channel is very in depth. He does a really good job of getting information across too.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's got a lot of damn videos now.
It's definitely helped change my growth style and help me grow better. So,
are you guys familiar with ELI 5?
No.
It's, in other words, explain like I'm 5.
Oh.
And that's one of my favorite things. That's because it's like, let's just break this very complicated thing down to layman's terms, or like, simple terms that just about anybody can understand. Because there's a way to do that with everything. And I don't know if that's what he's doing over in Build a Soil, but that's usually what happens over in those successful channels. It's like converting this crazy scientific experimental knowledge that they've got, spent years, if not decades, doing, and converting it to this YouTube content that a simpleton like me can understand.
Yeah, that's definitely like what I need. I'm not.
Is that what he's doing over there?
I mean, it's kind of. I mean,
yeah.
He definitely explains a lot. It goes, step by step on everything. He'll tell you basically where everything's sourced from, who he's sourcing it from.
Nice.
Use no bullshit like that. But it's definitely helped me. That's for sure. Help me get away from the nutrients.
So what were you rocking before? Like bottle?
The last thing I was growing with was heavy 16.
Okay.
So I did that for like, I think 2 or 3 runs, and then
I like their silica. I think it was one of the few ones at like 5% or whatever it was, like something a little bit higher.
I think I was using the whole line. I don't remember. It's been quite some time now.
It's not just the percentage of silica. Is it plant soluble silica?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. There's just one of the many variables, right? On a label that you have to look at.
There's 2 types of silica they sell you. There's the cheap bottles, which are good, but it's not as good as the very expensive bottles. There is a difference.
Very true. So are you feeling the did you have success with the like heavy 16 and these other bottled nutrients? Was it one of those things where it's just like, let's just try to work smarter, not harder? Did you just want to try something new? Like what?
I wanted to do organic, but then I was also, like I felt like the nutrients I was also kind of tasting in everything I was growing. So that's kind of why I was like, let me try going this organic route. But anytime I looked at organic or tried doing research on it, everybody made it seem so complicated.
Really?
Yeah.
Back then it used to be like, go gather these 50 ingredients.
Yeah.
Like
you got to take a trip to South America to get this one chelated.
Yeah, and then there were so many different techniques. Everybody was doing something different and this and that. And I was just like, let me just hold off. I'll stick to the bottle for a while. And then that's when I came across Jeremy on Build a Soil.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of easy to just follow a recipe when it's all laid out on a bottle or a package for you. You know what I mean? Like I need how many milliliters per gallon? I got how many gallons? Cool.
Oh yeah.
Super soil recipe. There you go.
Yep.
How much is that going to net you, Mr. Subcool? I saw 9 bags of something in there at the top. 50 of something, 50 something.
High quality base soil.
Okay. Was it 50 pounds or 50?
I can't read that shit.
Too many crazy colors.
Yeah, this putting black text on a gradient was not the best idea.
Oh, you didn't like purple on yellow and green on black?
I'll just hold it up. You guys read it.
1.5 pound cubic feet of high quality base soil, 9 bags, 50 pounds of high quality worm casting, 2.5 pounds fishbone meal, 5 pounds high phosphorus bag quantum, 5 pounds blood. All right, let's just. There's no. I wanted to. Let's see. It is necessary that you let soil mature over 6 to 7 weeks prior to planting. Once amended. 50 pounds. That's a little. Let me think about this. I mean, that's got to be in the range of like 250 pounds worth of soil, however many bags that is. I don't know. What's a bag of soil? I know a bucket of water is 40 pounds.
It did say cubic feet. Hold on.
It did in the like results or whatever.
No, next to the top line.
9 bags.
9 bags of 1.5 cubic foot.
Yeah, but then you got 50 pounds and 2.5 pounds and 5 pounds and 5 pounds and 2.5 pounds and 3 cups and like so many different measurements. I'm just trying to figure out what this like actual either volume or weight or whatever it looks like. Like how many gallons of soil am I getting out of that recipe?
Yeah, I don't
like 50 pounds of worm castings is probably somewhere in the range of like 3 cubic feet, maybe 4 cubic feet, something like that. It's not a lot. I mean,
I am so horrible at guesstimating that shit. I had truckloads being delivered and was like off by truckloads. So don't get me to guess little fucking bags.
Oh, it's funny.
Like,
actually, I bet you Red Setter's got something to say about that with getting truckloads of mulch.
Oh man, I wish I could get chip drop and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to have someone working local and needing to get rid of it up there to find something like that. You know?
Yeah, you got to find somebody who knows somebody, or you need trees taken down, and you can call the guy that.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got to be driving around seeing like a tree trimming crew working, like one of the county guys,
have you ever seen a forestry mulcher? They use them to cut shooting lanes and trails and
like do they do wait
like a skid steer with a big rotating drum that basically drives forward and chews everything in its path into mulch.
I've seen the ones, I don't know if it's the same ones you're talking about, but I've seen the ones along I-75 and the like that have not only the ones that do the like they come down and do the brush right along the edge, like the shoulder, but they come up and they lift up and they do the trees. And I'm talking like 6 to 8 inch wide tree branches. So whatever they're using is taking out everything. And it's wild driving down the road after seeing those go by and just being like, was there a tornado that came through here? Okay, so yeah, it's like almost like a mulcher.
It will push trees down and it'll chew the bottom. The bottom sticks out more than the top bar, and it will just eat everything in its path. This is how you clear your land.
I can't believe there's no front cover on that thing. OSHA should be called.
OSHA doesn't come to the UP.
Yeah. It's too long of a drive. Yeah, I wonder where their nearest like base station is. Probably like Traverse City or Gaylord or something like that.
Gosh, I don't know.
I have no idea either. Kind of want to look it up now.
It's an interesting one.
What else is happening, Chuck? These dogs. So you've vended at the Third Eye Craft Fairs in the past.
Yeah, we did that a couple times.
You think you're going to do that again in the future?
I'd like to. It all just depends. You know, life took over for a while.
Yeah, so. I get it. We've got one coming up this Sunday. Obviously, it's probably too quick turnaround.
Obviously. Oh yeah, I won't have nothing ready
still living,
for December.
Okay, well, I think there's one in November and one in December. So I don't know, just a thought might be worth coming out. That was cool to see you out there, man.
Yeah, it has been a while, so I definitely need to make my way out.
Way down in Jackson way. That was kind of a first time for a lot of us too, just being a different venue and whatnot. But it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun having a
traveling
venue.
It's pretty dope. Definitely like to just get back out, do something for sure.
Yeah, now winter's right around the corner, so everything like that it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Right. And everything's always so far from me, everything's like always on the other side of the state, so it's a far drive.
Yeah, I feel you. You're kind of tucked away. You know what I mean? Like
I'm closer to the east side of the state, so
right. You might as well be in the Detroit and that kind of. It's hard to get down to like west side or even really like towards the border, depending on where you go. Like if you take 69, just it's like cuts through the whole kind of center of the state, so it's like this weird roundabout route you can take. But other than that, it's what, like 75 to go north and south.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless I want to take back roads up, but
yeah, which I don't know, around here you kind of have to, right?
Yeah, depending on construction season, that.
Well, that shit ain't it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's ever ended here in Michigan, but it's certainly ramped up in the last year or so.
For sure.
Such is life. Superior, you got anything, man?
I was just reading chat. Sorry.
It's all good, dude. There's a lot going on in chat tonight. I'm trying to keep up with the two.
Yeah,
chat, you got any questions for us?
Over there and pay attention, but I'm like, I can't do two things at once.
It's like a learned task.
Yeah, it's getting colder. It's definitely that time, Red. It
says low 28 tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple frosts up here so far. Like we were talking about earlier in the show, it's like, yeah, we got to get those reflective sticks in for the driveways for our snow plows and stuff, because there's a certain point you don't know if it's going to be a week or a month or maybe not even at all the whole season, but there's going to be a certain point at which you're probably not going to be able to stick those things in the ground. The ground's frozen. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it's just, you got to wait until springtime for it to thaw. There's nothing you can do.
You've been down my driveway before. I've got like a ledge on the edge. And if I get a bunch of snow, you can't see that edge. And so if those stakes aren't there and you drive that snowblower full bore into, a 2-foot tree root. Yeah, not a fun sound. I've broken some of the pins.
Oh, really?
Stuff. Oh, yeah. Hit some shit that just ain't moving. I'd rather the snowblower pop its pins and it's like a 20-cent fix instead of a very expensive fix.
Bearing or an axle or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, though, I think you guys will probably get colder than me sooner. But then I'll get there.
Now, why is that?
So the lake holds my temperature up. So I'm heated by the lake. It'll be 10 degrees colder in the woods from my house.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I also heard the lakes were running higher this year than
they
normal.
Are warmer.
Okay.
Yeah,
so is that contributing to that? Is this a normal thing? Like in terms of you being higher?
We're always controlled by the lakes. So it always takes a little longer for the lake shore to get the temperature. But once we're at temperature, we'll stay there longer. And then lake effect will kick up. And then if the lake freezes, I'm at the bay, so my bay usually freezes over. But if we freeze up, then it just gets cold. Snow peters out and it just gets flipping frigid. You don't have that water helping anymore.
Nah. Yeah, it's just the ice sheet.
But I mean, right now, we're still going to get to 65 on Tuesday up here.
That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, there's actually
pushing November,
There's something they were saying like 90% of the US is going to be near record temps near Halloween. Just there's like a
like high temps.
The majority of the mid and eastern US, some shit. Watching internet weathermen.
You watching Ryan Hall, y'all?
Ryan Hall, he's awesome to watch, man.
Yeah.
Did you see some of the numbers he's pulled like during his hurricane streams?
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane.
Also, I mean, streaming 12 hours straight through and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
can't remember what he peaked at.
Dude, I'd hate to even throw out a number because I feel like it's not.
I know. I feel like I'm going to be completely off.
I know that at one point there was several 100,000 watching. I don't know if there was ever like 1 million, but
I don't think he got 1 million, but I know there was a couple 100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for like a random, YouTube guy, well, I say random, but obviously he's not small by any means, but like for a YouTube guy, he's a meteorologist. You know what I mean? He's the guy that shows up on the 10s on the Weather Channel. You see him a couple times in the morning, a couple times in the evening, but this guy's doing 12-hour live streams talking about, honestly, to some extent, some really nerdy shit, you know what I mean? And like talking about like weather patterns and pressures and like all this stuff, right? But like at the same time, he's giving you really good information, probably teaching you quite a few things, and maybe preparing you for the next storm that's going to roll through your area. It's
pretty wild that he's been directly responsible for like helping save lives, you know. And then the donations
raised, they raised so much money.
The amount of money they raised because of the streams, and then going in right after the fact because of the storm chasers, they're already there, and it's just like dropping stuff off instantly. It's a really cool little system he's got.
Did you guys see my private chat? Let me know what you think, Superior.
Got you, Spartan. I just popped a whole bunch of Soulfire and exotic genetics right now. I seen your comment over there.
Oh yeah, he's got some exotic up in the middle and surrounded by Soulfire. Look like
right? So you said what was it? Peach.
It's called peach pudding. It's it's like a damn. I don't remember what the cross is on it right now. It's some nope. I don't even want to get it wrong. Last Supper, and something else.
That one sounds great. What are some others that you're running right now?
I got a FX3, which is by Soulfire 2. It was one of like his strawberry ones. It's supposed to be like a fast finisher, like a 45-dayer. Oh, nice. So we'll see what it looks like at 45 days.
Woo.
So and then,
so that's what I practically thought you were at 45 days already.
Yeah, no, halfway there. And then what else do I got I got something else by Soulfire going. And then exotic, I'm running some cream royales and the yikes. That one the yikes I popped because it's got the lemon cherry gelato in it, and the sun grown competition that comes around in December out here in Michigan. They did a cherry category this year, and I was hoping to get into it, but I had life took over and I didn't get to it. But I'm still gonna grow them out. Maybe they'll do a cherry contest category next year, and I'll pop in it.
I gotta say, how crazy is that they did that? Because that was my prediction, I believe, for this year in terms of what the flavor was going to be, taking over in terms of new strains or whatever, the hype strains. I thought it was going to be something cherry related, and it never really manifested, other than maybe in that. So I'll take it.
Yeah. So
but that one actually makes sense. You need to.
Michigan
or like a cherry festival with it,
which had a rough time this year. Their crop was full.
Yeah, for sure. I seen
there was a whole discussion about a lot of farmers were seeing all their yields across the board being down this year because we were so dry. Such a weird year.
Yeah.
And this is the year I should have fucking grown outside, though. Of course, my season would still be going right now. We barely had a frost.
Oh my Atlanta!
4 years ago, I was 3 foot of snow.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a roll of the die every year. I mean, you're not going to know in the spring. There's no way to know, so it is what it is. Hey, Chuck These Dogs, man, I appreciate you big time coming on tonight. This was fantastic having you. I'm glad we got to.
Great meeting you.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks. It was a great experience. Stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I was a little quiet. Maybe next time if I'm on, I have a little bit more to say or something.
Of course, we'll have you back soon.
Heck yeah.
Anytime, and we'll definitely see you guys next week. I think we might have a professor locked in. So appreciate you all joining us back for a little bit of a hiatus, but we're still around. Cheers, guys.
We'll be back.
Right, man. Cheers, everybody.